Ready?
All right, hello everyone, and welcome to our episode of Tevora Talks. For those of you who don't know me, I am your host, Cash, and I am joined by my partner in cybercrime, Mr. Matt Mosley. Hey. And today we are obviously coming to you guys here from Las Vegas Speedway. Thank you all for all being here. And we have a very special guest that we're gonna ask some awesome questions about, and I'm pretty sure everybody's gonna love the answers to these questions. But without further ado, Linda Comerford, thanks for joining us. How are you doing today? Welcome to Las Vegas 2023.
Doing great. Thanks so much for having me here today. Very excited.
Awesome.
Love both of you and the podcast. So thanks for having me on.
Yeah, likewise. And this is a new thing for us. We're doing it in front of a live studio audience. So you guys are my live studio audience. But thank you guys. Thank you everybody. So yeah, today we're going to be talking about a hot topic that me and Matt have been covering over the past few years of doing this, you know, in bursts, and it's obviously something that a lot of you guys think about too, right? When it comes down to cyber attacks, usually, always, nowadays, it's
who's your cyber insurance provider?
Yeah, who's your cyber insurance provider? What do they cover? What do they do? What are we gonna do about that? And what does that even mean? What is cyber insurance? So, thankfully, we have Linda here. She's gonna shed some light and maybe talk about it a little more. So, Linda, give everybody here your 2 cents. What is cyber insurance and what is your role in cyber insurance?
Sure, no problem. Thanks for asking. So I'm the AVP of Incident Response Practice Lead at Amtrust. So basically, I handle cyber claims day in, day out. It's my everyday. So when we talk cyber insurance, we're trying to talk about how do we mitigate our risk when a cyber event happens. No matter how secure we are, there's always going to be employees, and it's unpredictable what someone might click on, do. You know the drill.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So when it comes to that, we want to make sure we have something in place that if an issue arises or when an issue arises, it's not all out of the pocket of the company, right? So when we talk ransomware, email compromise, those are the common day-to-day things that are going to arise that lead to calling me.
Absolutely.
You know?
And?
When it comes to them, they can be pretty expensive. So what we're talking about when we think ransomware, it's not just, oh, we need Bitcoin so we can make a payment. It's, what does this mean to our company? What data was affected? How did they get in? What did they do while they were there? And how do we mitigate that risk so it doesn't happen again, right? Because vulnerabilities happen, zero-day events, you never know.
Right.
So when that happens, we're talking, this could easily be $100,000, $1 million when you're talking digital forensic costs, privacy counsel. You might have notification costs, there could be data mining involved, and you might need a PR firm, business interruption. That's usually what a cyber policy is there for. And you want to look at all the different coverages and make sure that it's the right fit for your business. Because small or big, that can vary as to what your limits might want to look like. But at the end of the day, the less out of your pocket, the more out of the insurer's pocket, it's better for you.
So if I'm a company and one of my guys wires $2 million to Nigeria or whatever,
Prince in Nigeria.
Prince in Nigeria.
Does
Does that get covered by cyber insurance?
So it can vary, right? You're going to want to look at your policy. As the insurance carrier, got to say that. But what the intent would be generally is to cover a business email compromise. So quite commonly, someone might give up their credentials, and you want someone to look into that inbox to say, all right, how long was their access? Do we see any syncing of that inbox? Did they exfiltrate any data that we're aware of? And what does that mean for notification, right? Maybe there's HR data in that person's inbox, or maybe they are with finance. And quite commonly what we see the threat actors doing is inserting themselves into the conversation and pretending to be your employee, leading to the misdirecting of funds or payment or what have you. So there's usually a sublimit within your policy to say, all right, $250,000 will cover you for that.
Got it.
Another example of why we're on the wrong side.
Yeah, I know. We always talk about it, me and Matt. We say, hey, we're on this side of the cybersecurity fence, but those guys are making a lot of money. So I don't know. We're choosing our battles. But speaking of battles and us always attacking hackers, in your work, I'm sure you're picking up on different trends in cybersecurity, and a lot of the calls you're getting, hey, I got attacked this way, that way. What are you seeing? What are the current trends that you're getting a lot of calls for?
Absolutely. So it definitely changes. As we know, threat actors are constantly changing their, what they're going to do, how they're going to do it. Their playbooks are evolving. So what we've been seeing recently is a change in ransomware activity. In 2022, there was a bit of a drop, quite a bit of a drop. But in 2023, we're seeing them come back. The threat actor groups, more ransomware as a service, is really busy. So we've been seeing a lot of Clop, Lockbit, Black Cat, Akira, and even Play. So in the last couple months, that's really a lot of the variants that we're seeing be very active. And we've been seeing a fair amount of email compromise as well. That's been pretty consistent across the board and never seems to stop. So those, I'd say, are the biggest players in our space.
Do you think the drop in 2022 was due to Russia being involved with the Ukraine war? And everyone was just too busy with that.
I think that Ukraine and Russia were very busy, and so that definitely could lead to
Not to say
other
ransomware
focuses.
is all from there.
Absolutely
But
not.
A lot of it is. I'm just
It's from
saying.
all over, all over. We definitely get quite a few IP addresses pinging here.
Yeah. Well, so I guess the next question is for companies that are trying to get cyber insurance in general, the biggest challenge is qualifying for cyber insurance. You can't just, it's not like, hey, State Farm, I need cyber insurance. They're like, okay, here's your policy, right? What can companies do to better themselves or put themselves in a good position to be able to be a qualified, I guess, applicant for cyber insurance?
First of all, this client is calling Amtrust, not State Farm.
Oh, yeah, of course. I'm just trying to make it. Amtrust, of course, is getting the call, everybody. But you get the point. So, what do they have to do? What do they have to leverage to put themselves in that good position?
So one of the best things to do is make sure you have MFA turned on, especially for your email. Not just turned on, but enforced. Make sure everyone's actually using it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Another
Not just
thing
saying
to
you have
have,
it.
right? Another thing to have is an EDR tool in place. Ideally, a managed tool, right? Because it's one thing to have a tool alerting and no one looking at those alerts. Because I have seen people with very great EDR tools, but no eyes on it. And when you have no eyes, the event's just going to take place.
Sure.
Shout out to Red Canary who's here tonight.
Yeah, definitely. So we also would say, if you talk to an underwriter, how do you do your backups, right? Do you have on-site, off-site, redundant backups? Are they constantly plugged in?
Sure.
A lot of these threat actors, when they get in, they're sitting around and trying to see how you operate, and that's going to affect how they attack you, right? They might say, oh, they do a backup daily, or their backups are here. I know how to affect that, and I'm going to do the most damage before I deploy my gift of ransomware and leave.
Yep.
So,
We've been on a number of incidents where they go for the backups right away. So
right?
yeah, so making sure they're immutable and untouchable and not being able to be deleted is a huge part of your backup strategy.
Encrypted at rest, because
Right.
you want to make sure that if you do have an incident, your data is as protected as possible.
Yep.
It's
So
definitely-
it sounds like in general, you're looking to make sure that this company they just have some cybersecurity awareness. They're doing the minimums that they should be doing, right? And if they're not adhering to them, do you give them a chance to say, hey, this is where you're lacking, go fix it and come reapply, or is it just a one-time yes or no kind of deal?
So generally there's an application that they'll fill out, and one of the things to look at during that application is how do we become a better risk to be written, or what can we do to get a lower premium?
Got it.
And that's something that the brokers and agents are going to work very closely with the underwriters on. So it's definitely not a one-stop and you're done. It's, hey, this is what we have, and if you're willing to make some improvements, that can definitely be a positive.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, well, hey, thank you for shedding some light on the topic of cyber insurance. To my studio audience, thank you for being the first one. Yeah, you are here for the experience. And to our listeners online, thank you for listening to us. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, hit me and Matt up. We'll always send you some cool, fun, cybery related stuff. And with that said, Linda from Amtrust, thank you so much for giving us some of your time. And for everybody else, enjoy the rest of Black Hat 2023. Let's go.